when we kicked off this development, the initial product was something that was able to harness energy from old motors and using them as generators. So that was in March 2017. When we then actually went out to develop and test that product, what we quickly found was that people really wanted to understand how the electronics within that product worked. And so, we created what we then called the LE1, which was this educational charge controller.
The LE1 is a new platform for students who want to learn about electricity generation and conversion. We took a fully functioning charge controller and redesigned it so that students could learn about how it works. This includes learning about voltage regulators, electrical protection circuitry, and how to program a microcontroller. The LE1 is unique in that it can take power from anything and convert it into USB power. Here we have a recycled motor hooked up to the LE1, which powers a USB light. This recycled motor came from a blender, but it could have come from anywhere: a car alternator, an old drill, or even an old fan. Now all we need to do is turn the motor and we're generating electricity. In this video, we're using a hand crank made from old PVC pipe to turn the motor, but you could hook the motor up to a wind turbine or a water turbine. The possibilities are endless. Through a series of workshops, students will learn how this system works and can then use the LE1 as a platform for creating their own electricity generators. Check out this wind turbine students made in Tanzania using the LE1. Students will also learn how to program a microcontroller to display power readings on a screen, which they can then use to improve their generators.
Off the back of that, we then were able to create a educational program that kind of sat around that, and we launched that fully in October 2019, where we started training young people. Then we received grant funding from Innovate UK to then develop our smartphone app, which we've been developing for the last year. And in July 2021, we're going to be launching that smartphone app and connected hardware. Our main product is called Energy Makers Academy, and it is a mobile learning platform and a piece of connected hardware that teaches students how electricity systems work. So this is the actual hardware here itself. So this is a fully functioning charge controller. At the top here, you simply connect a battery, or in what is more often the case, a solar panel, and it then turns this into power down here for these 3 USB ports. And so that actually teaches students how a solar home system works. Within our app, what we do is we actually provide educational content that teaches students about how the charge controller works, but it also has a programming experience. And what that means is that students can write simple programs for their charge controllers, which then allows them to develop projects, but also to develop simple home automation. So for example, you can hook up a sensor that is able to detect when it's dark and then automatically turn on a light. One of the projects that we have been supporting is a group of students from one of our cohorts that we trained is working on elephant and hippopotamus detection to protect their crops and to reduce human and animal conflict. We ran a pilot program with an organization called ZioHub, who produce, they have a kind of rural education hubs. And at the end of that training, we then asked students to think of projects that they would like to work on. And we then provided a little bit of additional support with components for them to develop the project. And one of the problems that came up was the fact that elephants and hippos were coming and eating crops. And this led to human-animal conflict, and very sadly has led to a fair number of deaths within the community. And so what these students wanted to do was to take what is a component called a kind of seismometer. So they were able to tell when there were kind of heavy footsteps coming, and they were also setting up tripwires that they were looking at, so that they could detect when there were animals coming. And the idea was then that they would then turn on a bright light and also make noise to try and scare off the animals when they were coming at night, and also to alert people that the animals were in the fields as well. So that's something that's ongoing, that is being developed within that educational hub in a rural area in Zambia.